Getting ready to rock and roll here at Martinsville, getting ready to kick off the very first race of the playoffs here in the Lugz Cup Series here on a Wednesday night. And there you can see on your screen the 16 drivers that are eligible for that championship. Wortman, Hume, Boyles, Spear, Ruff, Bowen up there towards the top. Cook, Ellert, Palmer the fifth. Bonifield, Douthwaite, Battles, Moffitt, Coppola, Smith, and Nolan. Those are the 16 drivers that are going to be eligible for the championship here on a Wednesday night. And you can see there just a handful of races, 10 races left until we get to that championship race, the Final Four, which we've seen a couple of times here on Verdane TV. Had some championship fights throughout this past week. The Sim 500 Trans-Service Cup Series crowning their champion, Josh Parker, this past Monday night. Last week on Thursday night, we saw the Multi-League Cup Series crown Scott Patton as their champion in the number 26 grade. 11 wins on the season for him. And we're getting ready to get a little bit closer to crowning ourselves another champion. An eventful season here. Second season with all these drivers here on Verdane TV racing every single Wednesday night. And you can see right there, that butt kicker, number 77, has been drinking that Sasquatch juice. He is up on the pole here tonight. He was fast all afternoon in practice here as well. Looking forward to see what Kenny Coppola can do in the number 77 car and the rest of the field here as well. Getting ready to make a couple of quick laps here to get ourselves a Martinsville race winner. 150 laps on the docket. And you can see through the field as it goes across your screen right there. Kenny Coppola starting P1, electing the bottom side there with an 18.965. Tim Wortman Jr. down at the bottom in the double out. Ed Boyles Jr., Ken Ellert, Chris Spear, Wade Palmer the fifth, the front three rows. And the drivers continue on through here. 25 drivers making up the field. Starting shotgun going to be Matt Mackin in the number 9 car. And he's going to try and get that Hendrick Motorsports car up towards the front and try and help out one of his teammates or all of his teammates. Try and get this championship locked in and away. Very happy to have you here with us here on Verdane TV. Thank you so much for tuning in. Showtime, Paul Strickland Jr. calling all the action from down here in the Verdane TV production truck. Easy enough for me to say. Pace car's down on pit road, and that green flag is flying. We are green flag racing here at Martinsville, and you can see already a little bit of calamity up there in the front couple of rows. Kenny Coppola up towards the front already in the 77 car, but he's dropped back just a little bit. Chris Spear in that 7 car, absolutely already on rails. New colors for him in that 7 car. You can see butt kicker on the quarter panel of the car. Little teammate action with he and the 77, identical paint schemes there. Rocking a little Xlander blue. Definitely dig the color scheme there on the 7 and the 77, the Spire Motorsports cars. But they are running second and third, a pair of drivers that are still, in fact, eligible for this championship. So they're going to be working together just a little bit, but they're also going to be working against each other. One of Larry Mack's favorite words, the co-opetition there, as they kind of work together just a little bit, but they don't want to give up all of their secrets. And that's what it's all about here in the racing world, and that's what it's all about here in the Lugz Cup Series. And taking a quick peek, looks like Ken Ellert there in the number 23 and number DoorDash car may have found himself in trouble just a little bit. We can see he's down there on pit road, and the caution flag, in fact, has come out. And we'll see just what it was that happened to the 23 car to bring out caution number 1 here on lap number 3. And you can see here as we pull up the Kong Beer Bong instant replay, focus in on that 23 car as he comes around, following in the tire tracks just a little bit of the 00 and loses the back end of the race car coming out of the corner. And we can see that happen a lot here at Martinsville Speedway. The drivers tend to get on the gas just a little bit too early, and they try to get the throttle down as quickly as they can, and they end up not being able to stick those rear tires to the racetrack, and it's real tough to hold on to it at that point. And you can see the car kind of spins around and shoots on towards the back. But new leader up front, Hendrick Motorsports gives us the 5 car. Ed Boyles Jr. up in the front, a pair of, well, a trio, easy enough for me to say, of 7s. Chris Spear in the 7, Kenny Coppola in the 77, Tim Wortman Jr. in the 00 car, slides on back to 4th, and Wayne Bowen in the Joe Gibbs Racing number 11 Toyota rounds out the top 5, and the lights are still on that iRacing pace car. So we got a little bit of time here before we get back to green flag racing for sure. And what would a Dane TV broadcast be on a Wednesday night without talking to our boy in the 77 car, Kenny Coppola, tonight's pole sitter, fastest in practice. Kenny, you got a fast hot rod underneath you. What's it going to take to win this thing here at Martinsville?
No more blown first corners, man. We got a long race ahead of us. We're just going to sit, be patient, let them make mistakes. We ran good all week, so I'm not sweating it.
Looked really good in practice and looked the best in qualifying. Started up towards the front, still in the top 3 right here, but lined up 2 by 2. The lights are off. Time to get back to work. Good luck, man.
Thanks, man.
Kenny Coppola in the number 77 car. Restarting here on the bottom of the second row there in third place. Ed Boyles Jr. up the 5 car going to start P1, and Chris Spear in the number 7 car going to start on the outside in position number 2. Pace car's already ducked off. There, in fact, is the green flag. We're racing once again here at Martinsville, working a lap number 8 of 150 on the docket. You can see the onboard for Ed Boyles Jr. really cranking that wheel hard onto the left-hand side, trying to get that race car to stick onto the bottom, stick towards the bumps. You can see coming up just a little bit to try and block the number 7 car teammate to Kenny Coppola. Just talked to him in the 77 cars. He slides on in on the bottom. He's going to take that second spot, set his crosshairs on the back bumper of the number 5 to see if he can get himself a couple of laps led, and most importantly, lead that last lap, get maximum points, and move on to the next round here in the championship playoffs here for the Lugz Cup Series. And again, thanks so much for joining us here tonight. Made mention already, Showtime Paul Strickland Jr. down here in the production truck, bringing you all the action here from Martinsville Speedway. Be sure to give us a like, a subscribe, a share, all that good stuff on social media. We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, Twitch, TikTok, all that good stuff. We're on Twitter. Be sure to follow us, let us know, and let your friends know that you're watching some entertaining iRacing action here on a Wednesday night, and these guys absolutely deliver here with the Lugz Cup Series. Great racing. Oh, a little bit of contact there. Looks like we're still going to stay green flag racing, though, and we've seen a couple of races here throughout the past couple of weeks at Martinsville Speedway and half-mile paperclip, especially in these Cup cars throughout the 7500 group and multi-league Cup Series. Very tight racing throughout this racetrack, and as the run gets longer, as the tires start to wear off just a bit, you'll see the racing groove start to change up just a little bit as the battle for the lead starts to heat up. Definitely been getting after the practice laps. You heard him say it. He's been running very well here all week long. Kenny Coppola in the 77 car down on the bottom. A little bit of a push there from his teammate, number 7 of Chris Spear, trying to follow him on through. Crossing the stripe, lap number 15. Give that lead to the 77 of Coppola, Ed Boyles Jr. Sliding in back to second place, and he's going to get around on the bottom side, already in the back of the head of the 77 car. You heard him make mention he doesn't want to make any more mistakes here, but it is a long race, 150 laps here at Martinsville. But you do definitely have to make sure that you keep everything in order. You can see losing the back end of the race car just a little bit. Big time loose for that 77 car right up in front of Chris Spear in the 7 car in the 3rd position. And you can see the top about 10 cars or so all lined up nose to tail with a 5-6 car breakaway, and then a little 3-wide action back there in for 6th. Gaggle of cars back here led by Sean Rhodes in the 42 car, breaks away just a little bit. David Douthwaite in the 34 breaks away as well. Here comes the 8 and the 18. They start to get single file. Kevin Ruff, Jimmy Absher getting ready to try and march their way up towards the front. The 18's actually going to lose a spot there to Michael Miller, Hendrick Motorsports number 48 car, and he's bringing Drew Moffitt in the 52 as well. So you can look through early on in this race, lots of different paint schemes, always cool to see here. You're going to take a look at some of the most exciting battles. Another battle for the lead, Kenny Coppola trying to make it happen down on that bottom side. So he gets it this time, and the 7 car, Chris Spear, is around. I was just about to say he was going to follow his teammate in through to take over that 2nd spot. Loses the back end of the race car coming out of turn number 2 and tags the inside safer barrier. That is going to be big, and that's going to be something that we're going to have to keep an eye on all night long here, especially with some of these championship contenders. They get in, they get their practice laps done, and they feel that the car is in good shape, and a lot of times it is, but the drivers sometimes tend to lose focus when they're looking out the windshield and You can see here in the Kong and Beer Bong instant replay, focus in on that number 7 car. You can see Tim Wortman is behind him. No contact there, but coming out of turn number 2, loses the back end of the race car. Great job locking up those tires there on the number 7 car and getting that thing to come to a complete stop before hitting the wall. You can see a little bit of a tag there trying to grab a gear and get on going. So the good news is not too big of a damage, not too many dents on that race car for the number 7 of Chris Spear. But the bad news is you can see coming down pit road to get those damages tweaked out, maybe put a set of tires on it. It's going to be a long road to hoe for that 7 car to drive on through the field. We've seen him do it before on short tracks, on road courses, and on some of the intermediate tracks. So that's going to be something to definitely keep an eye on here for the rest of the race here. 130 laps to go under the second caution here on lap number 20. And the lights stay on the pace car for at least one more lap. Gives us another opportunity here to talk to another one of these championship contenders. And currently running in the second spot, the number 5 of Ed Boyles Jr. Ed, what's it going to take to come home in victory lane, move yourself on to the round of 12?
I think I just got to stay down to the bottom side here. Keep it moving around the track. It's really hard to pass on the outside. So I think if I can keep it down low and get around this 77 car, I think I'll be all right.
100%. The car looks good, and it looks like we're coming to 1 to go here. Time to get back to work. Good luck, man. Hopefully we talk to you at the end of the race.
Yes, sir.
Number 5 car, Ed Boyles Jr., restarting on the outside. Led a couple of laps here tonight as the iRacing pace car shuts those lights off, and we get ready to go green flag racing once again here at Martinsville. We're going to be taking the restart on lap number 24 and getting closer and closer to finding ourselves a race winner. You can see a little bit of calamity there in the back of the pack trying to get the free pass car up and around the field, but that appears to have been all sorted out. The iRacing pace car going to dip down on to pit road one more time. Kenny Capola down on the bottom. The number 5 of Ed Boyles Jr. taking that top side. Tim Wortman Jr. restarting in third. Bowen and Rhodes rounding out the top 5. And we are getting ready for restart number 4. Little delay a game here, waiting for the pace car to come back out, it appears, as the drivers did not go just yet. So we'll get it all sorted out here. You can see everybody's lining up, making sure they're in the right position. And I believe we'll take the green flag here. You see Kenny Capola pulling up, letting everybody know that he wants to go. There's the pace car. Pace car has pulled up to take the field out one more time, so we had to get everything sorted out here. Race officials didn't like how everything stacked up, so they figured let's stack it up again, and we'll make sure we get this restart right here after the second caution. So we're going to get the restart on lap number 26. Shout out to Renner Race Car, premier flagship car number, the number 26. I actually drove that car, going on 12 years ago at Stafford Motor Speedway, and it was a lot of fun, so definitely check out Renner Race Car if you're wanting to check out some short track racing, some street stock racing at Stafford Motor Speedway. Good friends of ours here at Vidane TV. Let them know that Strictly sent you, and they'll be able to, they might be able to hook you up. But there goes the pace car once again. Everything stacked up the way it should be. 77 in the 5, up towards the front, followed by the 00 and the 11. Green flag flying once again. Door handle to door handle up in the front. Kenny Capola gets a little bit of a run, and he's going to make that bottom side work for him. Going to try and slide on up in front of the 5 car. Not quite, just enough of a room until he gets down here to 3 and 4. You can see, tries to move up, but trouble for Rhodes of the 42 car. finds himself around. We are stacking them up, coming out of 3 and 4. Lots of damaged race cars doing a little bumper car action here on lap number 27. And you can see the one car of Keith Hume Sr. involved, Drew Moffitt, Jimmy Absher. A lot of these drivers involved, and a lot of these drivers coming away from this with some big-time damage. So we're going to pull out the Kong Beer Bong instant replay one more time. We're going to take a look at this from the spotter stand to make sure that we get all of the action here. And trying to be the life of the party, but you see the left-hand side of your screen is where this wreck starts. Little contact into the back bumper of the 42 from Douthwaite in the 34. And you can see the 8 car involved, rough 48. 20 gets on by. Great run through there. Heads up driving. The 7 gets by without unscathed. With the 32, the 41, the 23 of Eller, the 2, the 9. And lots of drivers involved here. Lots of drivers getting some banged up and beat up sheet metal. They're going to have to come down pit road here and get some of that damage virtually fixed here. And that's definitely could put a hamper on things depending on what the car looks like, where you're at on the track, and everything that comes to it. But under caution for the third time here tonight, lap number 28 of 150 here at Martinsville for the Virginia is for Lovers 150. Going to take a quick commercial break, pay some of the bills on our end, top off your beverages. We'll be back with some green flag racing here with the Loose Lugz Cup Series live on Vidane TV.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
CTWE wrestler The Mac.
And I'm Showtime Stevie Stamos.
Have you ever dreamed of owning your own race car and taking it out for a test drive? Well, thanks to our friends at Rent a Race Car, you can!
Visit www.rentaracecarne.com for all the details on how you can take one of these babies out to Stafford Motor Speedway. We'll see you at the races.
Touchdown!
Back here at Martinsville Speedway, the lights are off and the pace car dipping on down to the safety of pit road, and we can see a little bit of a repeat action here. Getting a restart on lap number 32, the 77, Kenny Capola down on the bottom side. Ed Boyles Jr. up on the top side. Tim Ortman Jr., Wayne Bowen, and David Douthwaite rounding out the top 5, and the top 10 has changed just a little bit. Douthwaite into the 34 up there. Bonifield in the 33 makes his way up to the top 6. Smith, Middlemiss, Spear, and Zemer in the top 10. Now still side by side. Up in the front, though, for the lead. Kenny Capola doing his best to get in front of the 5, and there you see it. Now the 5 car of Ed Boyles Jr., you heard him say it himself. You see a little damage there on the back bumper of the 77 car. Doesn't seem to be slowing him down too much, but that Ed Boyles machine wants the bottom side of the racetrack. You see he's going to try and take a peek on the high side, maybe extend that corner just a little bit, but he knows that the bottom side is strongest here at Martinsville. And you can see Kenny Capola pulling away just a little bit, about a 3-4 car length lead. But as the entrance corners come in, the 5 car picks up a lot more, and it looks like caution flag flies once again. The number 99 of Joshua Nolan finds himself in a little bit of trouble, losing the nose of that race car, pulling out the caution flag one more time here at Martinsville. So we'll pull up the Kong Beer Bong instant replay, and it looks like there's a little bit of damage on the front of 99 from a previous incident, but coming out of the corner, the 41 gets up into the wall just a little bit, comes down, makes contact with that 99 car. He does a great job getting out of the racing groove, but that's going to happen right underneath the flag stand, and he's going to call for the caution flag. So the caution flag comes out once again here at Martinsville for the 99, finding himself pointed in the wrong direction. One of the cool things about this series is the camaraderie and the competition and the competitiveness of all the drivers. Cool little challenge, the Bounty Hunter Challenge, $35 on the line. If you're not in the playoffs, you've still got a chance to end in the money. It's a friendly competition among the drivers of the Loose Lugz Cup Series. A few of the drivers are waging some money to the first non-playoff driver that grabs a win. The prize increases weekly by $5. Drivers knocked out of the playoffs become eligible. So as we move on through the playoffs here, from the round of 16 to the round of 12 to the round of 8, and finally to the round of 4, as drivers start to kind of fall out of the playoffs, they become eligible for this Bounty Hunter Challenge. Easy enough for me to say 5 times straight, but the $35 to the winner for the first non-playoff driver to get that, and again, increases $5 for every race that goes on here. There's 10 races left in the season. If my math's correct, that's potential to win $85 if you're outside of the playoffs and you want to come home with a victory here. Just a way to make sure that everybody's involved, and that's why we see full fields here every single Wednesday night. Yes, we've got 16 drivers that are eligible for that championship, but we've got 25 drivers here that are eligible for the win here at Martinsville, and we've still got 9 more races to run after this week here on Wednesday nights. Verdane TV bringing you all the coverage all the way up through the month pardon me, of February, and lots of cool stuff coming up this winter as well. Be sure to check out the Facebook page for all the details on that. But there goes Pace Car. He's going to grab himself a corn dog and a Coke. We're going green flag racing one more time. Kenny Capola down on the bottom side once again. No surprise there. Ed Boyles Jr. up on the top side. Green flag flying for lap number 40 here at Martinsville. The Virginia is for lovers. 150 laps here on the docket. We got 40 of them knocked out, and there you can see Kenny Capola knocking out that lead. 3-4 car lengths in front of the number 5 of Ed Boyles Jr. as he comes out of turn number 4, and we're going to have to keep an eye on that turn 4 exit because a lot of drivers forget just how tight that corner is. They get on the throttle very heavy and spin the race car around, and that's something we've seen here a couple of times already this evening, and it's a couple of things that we've seen throughout a few of the leagues here on Verdane TV. Here's a gaggle of cars back towards the second half of the pack. You can see Jimmy Apsher in the number 18 car sliding back. Lots of big-time damage to the front of that car, and a little 2x2 action, almost 3 wide action back here, racing for 15th on back. And these drivers know every position counts. Whether Zemer around in the number 32 car finds himself pointed in the wrong direction. The field gets by unscathed. Caution flag number 5 flying out here at Martinsville here on a Wednesday night. So we'll pull up exactly what happened here to the 32 car, and it looks like a little bit more of the same here on the Kong of Beer Bong instant replay, and you can take a look at the 32. Doesn't appear to be any contact. Heavy in the throttle, loses the back end of the race car, slams into the inside safer barrier, and you can see, whoa, big heads up driving the 52. Gets a little piece, but not a big piece. Drew Moffitt gets on by almost scot-free, and Colin Zemer going to have to restart here in the back of the pack after getting some damage done, repaired there on pit road. So going to be a long race to get back up to the front for the 32 car, and this is almost what Kenny Capola was wanting to see. He definitely does have a long-run car, but he's doing very well on these short little stints here. But Ed Boyles Jr. is still very strong in second. Tim Wortman Jr., Guy Bonifield now up to 4th. He's up 15 spots. Wayne Bowen in the 11th car in 5th. How about Tyler Smith, the number 96 car? He's up 17 spots from qualifying in that Camry, and you can see he's up in the 6th spot. Chris Spear sliding on back a little bit earlier on, rebounded to 7th. Dave Douthwaite, Jameson Middlemiss, and Keith Hume Sr. currently the top 10, and you can see still 21 drivers on the lead lap here, so still 21 drivers that could come home with this win. I believe the only car out of the race currently is the 99 car of Joshua Nolan, who is still sitting on a pit road. But up front, still Kenny Capola, Ed Boyles Jr. for top 2. We may mention lots of cool things coming up here on Verdane TV in the winter months, and winter is usually when it gets heated up here on Verdane TV. All the real race cars get put into the garage, and the drivers, the crew chiefs, the the pit members, team members, crew members, track staff, they all get bored. So they want to jump on the iRacing, and Verdane TV does everything we possibly can to entertain the masses throughout the winter months. And we got a lot of cool stuff coming up here. New England, Pennsylvania iRacing Series kicking off their, or continuing on their season number 3 tomorrow night at the Bull Ring at Las Vegas. That's going to be a very fun race. Tim Terry joining me in the booth for that action. And Friday night's Las Vegas big track race is being postponed for the New England, Pennsylvania iRacing Series. We'll get that date a little bit later on down the road. And Sim 500 just wrapped up Monday night, so Tim Terry is going to slide that TCM qualifier for the big TCM 300 next week on Friday night. Qualifying events Monday, Tuesday here live on Verdane TV. Wednesday night, the doubleheader with Tim's Corner Motorsports, Tim's Corner Live, as well as Lugz Cup Series action on 9 o'clock on Wednesday, 9 o'clock next week, 7 days from now. That's more than 24 hours. That's a little bit too much math. But there goes Pace Car once again, getting ready to go green flag racing. And the king of the restart so far here tonight has been that butt kicker machine, the number 77 of Kenny Coppola. And there is the jump for the 77, but it's still door handle to door handle between he and the 5. A great restart for Boyles as well. You could put a zip tie, well, a little bit of a slip from the 5 car, and there goes the 77. 2-3 car legs as they shoot on down to turn number 3. And you saw some heavy charges from his teammate back there in the 7 car. Chris Beer trying to make up some ground, trying to get back up towards the front. You can see he's passed a couple of cars already, but still holding on to that 7th position and setting his sights on that number 96 of Tyler Smith. And it's going to be a lot to try and get around that 96 car. He is bad fast. He's up 17 spots in 50 laps here. 50 laps down, 100 to go as we cross the stripe. Kenny Coppola out front with the lead. Ed Boyles Jr. right in behind him. How about Guy Bonifield up 16 spots in that 33 car? Take a look at his onboard, setting across here from the back bumper of the number 5. Having a great run. Tim Wortman Jr. side by side now for that 3rd position. You can see Tim Wortman Jr. down to the bottom side. Wayne Bowen in the 11 car up in the 5th spot as well, having himself a quiet night so far. And you can see right in behind him Tyler Smith and Chris Spear, we made mention. Kind of a 7-car breakaway up towards the front. You can see a little bit of a bobble there for Tim Wortman Jr., but he's going to stick onto that bottom side and try and complete the pass, try and get up in front of Guy Bonifield to set his sights on the 2nd place driver. But give that 3rd position to the 00 Tim Wortman Jr. He is up to 3rd, and that's going to drop the 33 car back to 4th. Wayne Bowen still waiting in the wings. He's now going to take a shot on the inside of the 33 car to take over the 4th position. So move that 11 car back up a couple of spots, and we find that Jimmy Apsher and the 62 car pointed in the wrong direction, and that's going to pull out caution flag number 6 here at Martinsville. And it looks like Tim Ingram was able to get out in front of the pace car. Didn't lose a lap in that incident, but going to lose a lot of track position here and going to have a little bit of damage as we pull up the Kong Beer Bong instant replay. And you can see the 62 shoots on down low, the 18 nice and high and wide, and as he comes onto the corner, a little bit of contact there, a couple of drivers going for the same piece of real estate, almost a simultaneous spin there towards the inside safer barrier. And some big time damage from earlier on in that 18 car, still hammering on through, still trying to get a decent finish here. And you can see there's some damage on the front end of the number 62 car as well for Tim Ingram. So we'll see what the pit crews are able to do. We'll see how much of that they can get fixed down on pit road. But this is going to be interesting as we've got some pit stops getting ready to take happen. And you can see it doesn't look like there's too many drivers that are taking it up towards the front, but definitely an opportunity to get 4 fresh Goodyear tires. But with how we've been running here throughout the evening so far, lots of short runs here this evening. So a lot of the drivers electing to just stay out front and hold on to what they've got. You can see top 5 currently: Kenny Coppola, Ed Boyles Jr., Tim Wortman Jr., Wayne Bowen, and Guy Bonifield. The top 5, Tyler Smith, Chris Spear, Jamison Middlemiss, Dave Douthwaite, Kevin Ruff. The top 10, Michael Miller up to the 11th spot, Matt Mack and Bobby Justice, Drew Moffitt, Sean Rose, Josh Battles, Derek Cook, Colin Zemer, and Charles Stevens. Currently the lead lap drivers, Jimmy Apsher, Keith Hume Sr., down on pit road. They're able to get out in front of the pace car and stay on the lead lap. So still 21 drivers of the 25 driver field on the front, or on the first lap, and we still have a lot of racing to do here. 95 laps to go here at Martinsville for the Virginia is for Lovers 150. Line up 2x2, getting ready for the restart once again here at Martinsville. There goes the pace car. Going to grab another corn dog, another Coke. Lap number 58, taking the restart once again. Green flag in the air, 77 and the 5 up in the front. Been in the story of the night all night long. Great run for the 77. That's going to open the door for the 5 car to slide right in behind, take a little bit of the slipstream action, try and take that bottom side. You see, taking a peek down below the 77. Now a little bit of a challenge from that third place car. Tim Wortman Jr. letting him know and letting everybody else know that he's got a car to beat. Gets right up to the back bumper of the 5, gives him just a little bit of a shove towards that 77 car and backs up just a little bit. You can see about a car length now between he and that second place car. Has a little bit of breathing room on back behind him to the 33 car, and then a little side-by-side action, a little 7-11 action back there. Chris Spear getting around Lane Bowen as the caution flag flies once again, stacking them up there, coming into the corner. A little bit different scenario there. A little bit of an extra shove for the 42 to the 23, but we'll back it up one more time. Take a look at the Kong Beer Bong Instant Replay. And if you haven't checked out these Kong Beer Bongs, definitely be sure and do so. Kong.twodrunk.net, as you can see on our rotating graphic there. And it's very cool. You can make a lot of beer disappear very, very quickly, and they're good friends here of Verdane TV. So if you purchase at Kong.twodrunk.net, helps us out in a big way, and it helps you become the life of the party. And they're big-time supporters here of the Instant Replay. And we're going to focus in on the 42. The left side of your screen shows what happens. The 8 gets into the back of the 34, and as he's trying to collect at the 48 and the 42, get a little bit of collection in there. And great heads-up driving by a lot of these drivers, able to slam on the brake pedal and make sure they don't pile into the wreck, as we see happen a lot here in the iRacing world. But some heads-up driving by a lot of these drivers. Good news is the damage is, in fact, minimal. But again, this is going to give these drivers an opportunity to potentially come down pit road if they feel that they need to. But right now, 60 laps. We've had probably about 50% of them under caution, so we haven't really had an opportunity for these drivers to test out the tires, to test out how long they can stay out there, and test out different fuel loads. We do have a couple of drivers down there. Bobby Justice, Jimmy Absher, Charlie Stevens down there. Ken Ellert in the 23 car, he's down on pit road as well, getting some damage worked on from a previous event there, but doing everything in their power to stay out. Track position is key. We heard Ed Boyles make mention. It's tough to pass on that high side, so all these drivers doing everything they can to get up towards the front and stay there. Restart time once again, crossing the stripe for lap number 65. Green flag racing here at Martinsville, and you can take a peek here from a wide angle shot, still 2x2 throughout the entire field. A little 3-wide action back towards the back of the pack, but these drivers know track position is absolutely key. A little side-by-side action for the lead. Ed Boyles Jr. trying to make the top side work, and I think the further we get on into this run, the more that top line is going to come in. It's going to really even out the tires between the high side and the low side, and it's going to give the opportunity for a lot of these drivers to get up to the outside, as we got another wreck in the back of the pack on back. Looks like the 9 car involved from this wide angle shot. We'll see if we can change it up. There's a little bit of a parking lot there on the front straightaway, I believe that is. We'll take a look here once again at the Kong Beer Bong instant replay. A couple of Joe Gibbs cars involved in that. The pace car is going to drive on through, and little interesting dynamic here. The 20 and the 18 not able to get going. There they go. Get everything rolling there at that point, and looks like we're going to get this sorted out. But Kong Beer Bong instant replay time. Let's have a peek. We'll see what happened here on this particular wreck, and lots of cars involved in this one. Looks like 8, 9, 10 cars, and we'll back up the replay. We'll take a peek at it here, and we'll focus. We'll focus in on the 32 car of Colin Ziemer. There you see on the left-hand side of your screen some 2x2 action racing there, and it looks like the 52 finds himself involved in an incident with the 42, and a couple of drivers trying to get checked up here find themselves trying to kind of be in the same spot at the same time as another driver in another car, and unfortunately that doesn't work physically. So tough break for a lot of these drivers, and they're going to be coming down pit road to get some damage repaired. And a couple of drivers did, in fact, elect to take a pit road, take a pit stop, take some tires and some fuel here on lap number 68, crossing the stripe for lap number 69. Nice. As you can see, the leader's still out on pit road. Ed Williams Jr., Kenny Capola, Tim Wortman Jr., Guy Bonifield, and Chris Spear back up in the top 5. And take a look at the pit stop times here. You can see the top 4 drivers have been out so far the entire race. Chris Spear came down a little bit further on back, 49 laps ago. And then Bowen and Ruff, they've been out on the same set of tires all race long. 32 laps on the tires for Moffitt, 23 laps for Rhodes. Middlemas, Miller, Dothwaite, they've all been on the same set of tires the entire race. And the list goes on back further. So a couple of the drivers coming down pit road are going to be restarting there in the back of the pack, but they're going to have fresh tires. That's going to be something to watch here as we are under caution for the 8th time here at Martinsville. I give a shout out to everybody watching at home on the YouTube page of Dane TV. If you find yourself looking for a little bit of entertainment, be sure to check out our YouTube page. Every single race broadcast that we've done here throughout the past 2 years, throughout the pandemic and all the different leagues that have jumped on board here with us on Dane TV, we've got every single race on demand on the YouTube page. Be sure to get a subscribe and hit that little notification bell as well as we get the lap cars driving around to catch up with the tail end of the field here, getting ready. You can see the lights coming back on in the pace car. So definitely check out the YouTube page. Lots of entertainment action going on there. Check out the Facebook page as well. Keeping up with all the news with the different leagues that we've got throughout the winter months coming up. We may mention New England, Pennsylvania iRacing Group. They're going to be racing tomorrow night at the Bull Ring out in Las Vegas. Tim's Corner Motorsports, the big TCM 300 next Friday night here on Dane TV, with some Monday, Tuesday qualifying racing, big action, big time schedule next week as well. East Coast Winter League, they're coming back. They've had 85 drivers try and qualify for 50 spots for Sunday night's show. Little tour modified racing action, 12 race season. We're going to be racing on Sunday nights with Dylan Kopech and his group. Really looking forward to that, and a lot of cool stuff coming up as well. Liberty Racing Series coming up with a couple of races here in January as well to cap off their Cup Series. And as always, the Loose Slugs Cup Series bringing us through on Wednesday nights. They're going to be racing with us all the way through the month of February before we crown a champion. 9 races to go after this. Green flag in the air. And there you see, you can still put a zip tie between the door handles. A 5 and a 77 slides on back just a little bit. Looks like he missed a gear and he's still falling backwards. Tim Wortman Jr. going to slide on up into that second spot, but Kenny Capola having some trouble with that car. He does find the bottom side, and he does find his teammate Chris Spear in the 7 car right in behind him in his tire tracks. Little matching paint scheme, inverted color scheme, definitely dig it. And butt kicker on the quarter panel, been around sim racing world for a very long time, and big time supporters here of the Loose Slug Cup Series here on Wednesday nights. But how about this battle for the lead? Well, there it went. Tim Wortman Jr. going to drive on around the number 5 car, take the lead and drive away with it. Kenny Capola going to slide on up and bring his teammate Chris Spear into the 3rd position, and it looks like that 5 car of Ed Poyles Jr. struggling, stuck on that high side. And we heard him make mention earlier on when we talked to him as we reach halfway, 75 down, 75 to go here at Martinsville. We heard Ed Poyles say he wants to be on the bottom side of the racetrack, and that is the exact opposite of where he is now. You can see very uncomfortable, very hard to get the car up there, especially on older tires. It looks like he is going to finally find a spot to slide on in front of Rhodes, the number 42 car. A little bit of nose damage on that machine. But the bad news is he's all the way back in 7th. Ed Poyles Jr. currently 7 spots back from where he was just a couple of laps ago. Tim Wortman Jr., the new leader, though, in that 00 car, and he's having a great run there with that car. And you can see that Camaro driving on away, but the caution flag is going to come back out one more time here at Martinsville. And it looks like it might be that 42 car pointed in the wrong direction once again. Tyler Smith and Zemer involved. The number 32 car of Colin Zemer involved in this one. Once again, caution flag number 9 here on lap 78. And we're going to back up the tapes, rewind it as we should say here. And we'll get you all the action here on the Kong Beer Bong instant replay. And this is one of those deals where I think we're going to take a peek at it from a little bit further view here. And we'll take a look as everybody comes on down pit roads. We're going to cover pit stops as soon as we're done with this replay. The 42 car loses the back end of the race car. Heard that a time or two here tonight. The 96 just doing a great job slowing on up to avoid calamity. And as the 42 comes back onto the track, that's when he clips the 32 of Zemer. So that's definitely a tough break. And we'll take a peek here at pit stops. The 77, everybody down on pit road. Ed Poyles Jr. looks like he's able to make it up towards the front. The 77 has that very first pit stop, so it may have been Ed Poyles Jr. did not come down here. So we'll have to take a look once timing and scoring crosses the stripe here. But you can see it's a feeding time at the zoo, as Kevin England, our good buddy, would say here on pit road. Lots of action, almost the entire field coming down pit road to get service to their machines. Ed Poyles Jr. actually going to give up the lead to come down. Derek Cook in the 14 car. I haven't said his name too much all night long, but he found himself in the top 5. He's down here, the Ed Battles machine, or check that, Josh Battles, and a 41 car currently in the top 5. Charles Stevens up towards the front. There you see Tyler Smith trying to get a lap back the hard way by driving around the field here under caution for lap number 80. But we're still experiencing some pit stops here. There you can see the left side's going up in the 5 car from a little bit further on back, and it's that's left sides. There we go, with the 34 car there as well coming off of pit road, and waiting for everything to get squared up, and it looks like we're getting there. So we'll take a look at the old graphic here for the pit stops to find out who came out where, who's running where, and all that good stuff. We're going to look at the pit stop time here as well. So there you see it. Stevens stayed out. Wortman came down. Wortman has stayed out the entire race. He's going to be in at 2nd. Keith Hume Sr. came down just a few laps ago, and he's up in the 3rd position here. And you can see a lot of 4-tire stops throughout here. We'll take a look at the stint length. That makes a little bit more sense. Capola and Spear came down under that last caution. There you can see 6th through 10th. 9th, though, still out there on 78-lap tires. Bonifield, Bowen, Ruff, and Miller still rocking that first set of tires. Actually, they just came down pit road, this caution flag, as well as Moffitt, Middlemiss, Absher, Boyles, Justice, they all just came down. Cook, Battles, Douthwaite, they all came and took 4 tires. Rhodes as well. And a couple of other drivers back in 19th, 20, Palmer and Zemer getting some damage repaired. So they came off pit road as well. But this is going to be interesting. A lot of drivers from 5th on back with brand new tires and fairly new tires up in the top 5. But as this race goes further and further towards the end and further toward that checkered flag, you'll be able to see that those tires are going to even out in a very big way. And you can see as the field drives on by our hard cameras here, a lot of battle wounds, a lot of missing fenders. The 23 car tore up in the front, as well as many other race cars throughout the field. But the iRacing pace car, he's going to go down on pit road. Green flag's going to fly one more time. And there's Keith Tim Wortman Jr., the 00 car. Great restart up on the high side. Charles Stevens struggling just a little bit on the older tires in that number 20 car. Sliding on back to currently 4th right now, but it's a 3-car battle in behind him. Oh, he catches the curb. The 1 of Hume's going to get on by the 52 of Moffitt, trying to avoid calamity. He's going to slide on back. The 7 and the 8 are going to get around him. It looks like it's all sorted out now just a little side-by-side action. Chris Spear trying to get that 7 car in around the 8, and he completes the pass coming out of turn number 2. Now going to set his sight on the restart leader, Charles Stevens, in that 20 car, and that 20 car is on almost 85 lap tires, so a little bit of damage there as well on the back end of that race car. So it's going to be interesting to see how that 7 car is going to be able to tiptoe around the number 20 car and get closer and closer to that front. You can see these drivers know they need some green flag racing. They need to be able to feel out their cars and find out what's going to happen the further they get into the run. So we've spread out just a little bit, a little conveyor belt action here at the half-mile paperclip. As you can see, the 7 gets around the 20 car. The 8 car wants to come too, but he's using his nose. He wanted to get in there in front of Charles Stevens and make sure that he gets everything in and around him, and he gets on by him, and he's going to slide on back. Caution flag is going to come out one more time, and it looks like it was because of that 20 car having a little bit of a mishap, but he does in fact call the tow truck, and he's going to sit down in the garage area to get that taken care of. Going to pull up the Kong Beer Bong instant replay one more time, and we're going to focus in on that number 20 car. There you can see the little bit of a tap, tap, tap from the number 8 car, Gavin Ruffin, as he tries to collect it again. Just tries to come down the racetrack, and the 52 of Moffitt was there. So big hard collision between the 20 and the 52. The 52 gets it spun around and drives on away. Drew Moffitt going to continue on here, and looks like the 20 car is done for the evening. It's going to give us 17 cars still on the lead lap here at Martinsville. Restart here on lap number 92, getting down to the nitty-gritty. These drivers know that it's time to get closer to the front as we approach the checkered flag. Green flag flying one more time. Tim Wortman Jr. down on the bottom side. Kenny Coppola fighting his best on the high side. Little bit of a slip up there from the 77, and a little 3-wide action briefly for that second spot. But Guy Bonifield's going to try and take advantage there on the bottom side, sliding himself into the second position. Oh, Keith Hume Sr. is around in the number 1 car, finds himself spinning, collecting a handful of cars. Caution flag and number 11 flies here at Martinsville. We'll pull out the Kong Beer Bong instant replay. And with the Kong Beer Bong, if you're going to be out there partying out at the bonfires with your friends, be sure to get yourself a Vidane TV sweatshirt. We got hooded sweatshirts, we got long sleeve shirts, we got all sorts of good stuff from our friends at Rent a Race Car, from Angry Tree Guy. A lot of Grand Theft Auto themed shirts and designs as well. Check out Vidane.shop, www.vidane.shop, and be sure to make sure you're warm throughout the cold months here and pick yourself up a Vidane TV hooded sweatshirt. We got hats, all sorts of cool stuff, but be sure to check that out 100%. But there you can see the one car pointed in the wrong direction, Keith Hume Sr., and there's the collection of race cars that pile on in. And we'll take a look. It looks like contact between the 7 and the 1. Little 3-wide action. The 7 gets in there just a little bit too hot to shot and gets into the quarter panel of the 1 car. Big contact with the 14, the 52, 23, 2, 98, 24, 52, 62, 42, 9. All sorts of drivers involved in this one. There you can see Ken Arlott pointed in the wrong direction in the 23 DoorDash car. But it looks like just a little bit of bumper car action throughout the field. Here a little bit further on back, and we're going to rack them, stack them, and get ready to rock and roll one more time here at Martinsville.
Have you seen my kick-ass subscription box anywhere? Oh, there it is.
Lined up to line 2, and you can see the iRacing pace car going down the pit road one more again. Going to get ready to go for the restart here on lap number 98. 52 laps of racing here to go, and the Virginia is for lovers. 150 at Martinsville Speedway. The double I, the 00, Tim Wortman Jr. restarting from the bottom side. The 33 up on the high side doesn't quite go like he needs to, and the 77 hammer down for Kenny Capola, trying to get up to the lead once again, restarting back in the 3rd position, already sliding in to that 2nd spot, right on the back bumper now of the 00 of Tim Wortman Jr., doing everything in his power to try and make the racetrack his and try and make that lead his one more time as the caution flag comes out. Colin Beerbong instant replay, and this is one of the ones we're going to have to take a look from a wide angle shot. We'll take a look at the spotter stand view, the 32 finding himself involved, so we'll focus in on him, and there you can see the 1 car getting around and making contact with that 32 car. So Keith Hume gets himself spun almost about a quarter of the way around, taps into the 32 car. No big hits, but enough to bring the caution flag out once again here at Martinsville, and a couple of drivers electing to come down pit road, but nothing too crazy at this point. Everybody's pretty content with what they've got here as we cross the stripe for lap number 100. And a little connection issue there for Tim Wortman Jr. We saw him blink out ever so slightly, but everything looks to be in good working order here at this point. And he's holding on to the lead. Kenny Capola and second guy Bonifield in that 33 car. Strong running here in the second half of the race. running in third. Wayne Bone and Chris Spear rounding out the top 5. Ed Boyles Jr., Kevin Ruff, Josh Battles, Michael Miller, and Bobby Justice, the top 10. Sean Rhodes, Jamison Middlemiss, all the drivers that have elected to stay out on the track, they're 11th and 12th. Jimmy Absher, Drew Moffitt, Derek Cook, all on pit road, 13th through 15th. And those are the final cars on the lead lap. The first car 1 lap down is that 34 car of Dave Douthwaite. So I believe he is, in fact, going to get the free pass here with 48 laps to go. Caution flag number 12 here at Martinsville. And we've seen this happen many times over the past couple of weeks here live on Verdane TV. It's a very short racetrack, and a lot of drivers, they concentrate on racing the racetrack and making sure they hit their marks. And a lot of times in those practice laps, they don't quite know exactly what or where the other drivers are going to be and what they're going to be doing. So once we get, unfortunately, cautions do breed cautions here in the sim racing world, just like they do in real racing world. And these drivers know with less than 50 laps to go, the timer is running out. And these drivers want to make sure that they get themselves a victory here, either to lock themselves into the round of 12 after a couple of races and we move on and knock out a couple of drivers from this playoffs, or we want a couple, one of these drivers that are maybe outside of the playoff runnings to try and get that bounty, $35 on the line right now for the first driver that's able to win outside of the playoffs. So anybody outside of the top 16 in points is eligible for that prize. And as the races go on, the money goes up, $5 per race to the winner, the first winner of the race that's not in the playoffs. And we'll see what happens. 10 races to go. 9 races to go after this here in the season, so the potential is definitely big time here to make just a little bit of coin and maybe take away some of the spotlight from some of these championship guys. But there you see the lights off in the iRacing pace car. Tim Wortman Jr. restarting from the front with 45 laps to go when we take the green flag. Kenny Capola in the 77 car up on the high side. Bonifield in the 33 having a strong run as of late here in the 33 car. We're running in the 3rd position. Look at that, double 0, double 7s, double 3s, double 11s. 11 car Wayne Bone in 4th and Chris Spear in 5th. That 5 car, though, Ed Boyles Jr. led a bunch of laps earlier on. He's back up there in the top half of the top 10, trying to break in to the top 5. There goes the pace car. He's on pit road. Green flag flies. One mo again. Racing here at Martinsville. The 77 trying to make the top side his, trying to make it work. Doesn't quite get there. He's got a slight opportunity to slide into the tire tracks of the double 0, and he does that, but not before Tim Wortman Jr. able to pull away by 6 or 8 car lengths. And you can see the 77. Oh, the 11 of Wayne Bowen around into the outside wall. One of the championship contenders finds himself pointed in the wrong direction, and that is going to, in fact, bring caution flag number 13 out here at Martinsville. We'll pull up the Kong Beer Bong instant replay. We're going to back up and find out exactly what happened to that 11 car to get him a little bit of a fustigated point of view there. And we can take a look, and it does, in fact, look like there's a little bit of contact between the 11 and the 7. The 7 right down on the bottom. The 11 tried to correct it and just out into the outside wall. 14 car, great job going around the outside, avoiding any kind of damage to his car, and everybody else gets away scot-free. And that's going to put the 11 car back in the back of the pack, all the way back. There's 18 cars on the lead lap, so it looks like he's going to be scored right now in 13th, and that's a long way to go in a short time to get there with these drivers up towards the front. And it appears everybody is going to, in fact, stay out on pit road, so no pit stops this time by, but we are, in fact, going to take ourselves one more commercial break, pay some of the bills that we've got here at Verdane TV. Don't go anywhere, though. We got a checkered flag coming up right after some green flag racing.
Here's to the straggly ones, the lopsided ones, the first ones, the I miss my beard ones, the hey, I look good with this ones, the he's never grown that numb weak ones, the black, brown, red, and grey ones, the oh whoa, that one, the itchy ones, the never forgotten ones, the ones grown by Dad, the ones grown for Dad, the started late ones, the absolutely filthy ones, the drawn on ones, the finger ones, the badge ones, the I nearly didn't do it this year ones, and the yeah, why not ones. They all raise awareness, raise funds, start conversations, and save lives. Because whatever you grow will save a bro. Sign up now at Movember.com.
Hey, I'm CTWE wrestler The Mac.
And I'm Showtime Stevie Stamos.
Have you ever dreamed of owning your own race car and taking it out for a test drive? Well, thanks to our friends at Rent a Race Car, you can!
Visit www.rentaracecarne.com for all the details on how you can take one of these babies out to Stafford Motor Speedway. We'll see you at the races.
Touchdown!
Hello there, racers.
Is everyone gassed up or ready to turn left?
Well, we here at the Burlington Sock Puppets hope everyone remains safe. And as a note, a good way to do that is to avoid Michelle Hopkins, who drives around the track like he's wearing one of us on his head.
Please also watch out for Corey Casagrande. Although Corey isn't the prettiest, his face gets better looking in everyone's rearview mirrors.
Ain't that the truth? And we know you're about to get this race started in Daytona, so please keep an eye out for the big one. And once again, we're not talking about the crash, just Corey.
Although, he'll probably cause the crash too.
But luckily for us, our favorite driver is the one behind the wheel of the number 7 Sock Puppets car. It's his better-looking and more talented brother, Kyle.
Good luck to Kyle, and may he celebrate with many beach buckets at Ocean Deck after this easy victory.
Green flag out once again, and there you see a great jump for the 77 of Kenny Capola. He's going to drive off into the sunset. A great restart for the leader here, and you can see Tim Wortman Jr. in second. Chris Spear now back up to third, able to use that high side to get around the 33 of Guy Bonifield, but still holding tough in that 33 car, letting everybody know that he is still part of this race. He wants to come home with a victory here, and he's going to try and hold on to that third spot. And you can see now Spear stuck on the outside. Kevin Ruff going to try and make that 8 car in on the bottom side, make it work, slide on up into that position, but the 7 car just too strong. He's going to drive around the outside, take advantage of that position, move the 7 car into the 4th position. And there you can see Kevin Ruff tucked in behind Ed Boyles Jr., the current led most of the laps earlier on in this run. In the 5 car, he's back into the 6th position after a little bit of a mishap earlier on as Hendrick Motorsports teammate Michael Miller involved in a couple of scuffles this year. Speaking of scuffle, the 8 car, Kevin Ruff finds himself tapped up in front of right next to, the inside safer barrier. Caution flag going to fly once again here. We're getting closer and closer to this race, and giving these drivers a lot of opportunity to really calm these tires down and cool them off. And we can see here, it looks like a little bit more of the same for the 8 car. Coming in here, single wide, and just on the throttle too hard, gets those tires spun around. Does a good job getting it locked up. A little bit of a tap there on that Whelen logo on the inside safer barrier, but it's enough to bring out the caution flag once again. And that was a Krong Beerbond instant replay. And lots of damaged race cars throughout the field here tonight. A little bit of a war attrition, as it were, and a lot of damaged race cars, almost looking like modifieds like we've got up here in the Northeast, here in the New England race tracks, and not quite what we're shooting for. We're racing these Cup cars here. You can see the caution flag. Flag man letting everybody know caution flag's out. I think we get it. You can ease up. There you go. Good job. Appreciate it. Earning the paycheck there, the flag man here in iRacing. With Kenny Capola in the 77 having a great run. He's up towards the front. He's been in the top 3 cars all season or all race long, and had a couple of really good runs here on Wednesday nights, and now that he's in the championship playoffs in the round of 16 drivers that are eligible for that championship, definitely lit a fire underneath the driver of the 77 car, and he's having a great run here at Martinsville, definitely showing that he's run all the practice laps that he needed to. He's run a lot of practice laps here tonight. Charles Stevens gets around. It's the lucky free pass car in the number 20. Getting that Skittles back a little bit closer to the lead lap. Actually looks like he is going to be on the lead lap, so that's good news for the 20 camp. Tim Wortman Jr. on the outside, going to be restarting in second. Oakeney Hill on the Oakeney Hill products on the quarter panels of that car, new colors for the 00 as well. So always cool to have some sponsors jump on board and support our hobby of sim racing, and let everybody know that we are the most brand loyal fans here in the world as race fans and as sim racing fans. So if you wanted to get your logo, your company on one of these cars, definitely feel free to. You can message the drivers directly. You can message us here on the Facebook page for Venane TV. We'll get you hooked up in the right spot. It's always cool to see companies jumping on board with these sim racing rigs, and it was a very special time throughout the pandemic, the COVID-19. I know we're still struggling with getting the numbers down and vaccines and all that good stuff, but It wasn't quite as simple last year, and we kind of used sim racing here on Verdane TV as an escape from the real world, and it was very cool to see a lot of companies and a lot of brands and sponsors jump on board and support these drivers as they were able to put on some entertainment for the folks when there was nothing else. There was no baseball, no wrestling, no football or anything like that on TV, so they tuned to us, and I think we did a pretty good job putting on one heck of a show, and these drivers here in the Loose Lugs Cup Series definitely helped here on Wednesday nights here for season number 2 here consecutively on Verdane TV, and already rumblings of a season 3 coming up here. We don't have any details yet. Well, we do, but we can't share them because, well, that's how things work. But we'll definitely have that all announced on the Facebook page here coming up in a very short amount of time. But there go the lights on the pace car, off once again. Going to get a restart. 7, 0, up front, couple threes in the third. Chris Spear in the 7 car. He's going to be restarting fourth. And Mike Miller in that 48 car. Hendrick Motorsports taking over row number 3 with Ed Boyles Jr., previous race leader in the hunt as well. Green flag in the air, 30 laps to go, side by side, the 77, the 00, Chris Spear there on the outside, Ed Bonifield down on, or Guy Bonifield rather, I don't know who Ed is, but he keeps messing me up here, it's got to be Ed Boyles, but 77 car able to take the lead, the 00 right on his back bumper in his tire tracks, little single wide action all the way through the top 5 or 6 cars, Sean Rhodes on the outside, bmmoose.org, way high in that very broken race car. A little 3-line action as well as the 41 gets by of Josh Battles, and they're going to move on through. And no harm, no foul for the 42. A little bit of damage from some previous incidents there, but he's trying to get in, break back into that top 10, and get up towards the front. You can see Josh Battles in a 41 car, Drew Moffitt battling side by side for that 8th position. Big time drive forward for Josh Battles on 41. Been a quiet night for him all night long. A little bit of dings and dents on that race car, but that'll happen when we drive up through the field 16 spots to get yourself into the race, into the top 10 here. And he's doing a great job, and you can see he's now set his sights on Wayne Bowen in that 11 car, and he's going to try and close up that gap. But up front, still Kenny Capola. 125, 124 as we cross the stripe. So 26 laps to go for Kenny Capola in the 77 car. And you can see 6, 7, 8 car lengths is the lead between he and Tim Wortman Jr. He's holding tough. He's got a relatively clean race car and a fast race car as well. Very steady guy, Bonifield, there in the 33 car. Up 16 spots in the night. The top running Ford Mustang in the field. And he's running third. Chris Spear in behind him in the 7 car. A little bit further on back with the 5 of Ed Boyles Jr., the Hendrick Motorsports entry, trying to get back up towards the lead that he lost just a few laps ago. And in behind him, Michael Miller, Wayne Bowen in the 11 car. We saw him tangled up just a few laps ago with a little bit of an incident there, but he's hanging tough in the 7th position. Josh Battles, we saw him a little bit of a squirrely line just a few laps ago. He was him in the 42 car, but the caution flag going to come out one more time. Looks like a handful of drivers involved, and there you see it, Kevin Ruff, Matt Mackin, and that 99 car, I believe it is, 96 car potentially, and Kevin Ruff there in the 8. But caution flag number 15 comes out here with 24 laps to go. So we're going to focus in on the 8 car. It looks like a little bit more of the same menu that everybody else was having. The 8 comes in, trying to get a little bit of distance closed up in the 24 and the 96. A little bit too much throttle, though, coming out of turn number 4. Loses the back end of the race car. Oh, and the 9 car just T-bones him there. And there's some big-time contact with the 99 car as well of Joshua Nolan. So that's some big, heavy hits. It looks like the 9 going to retire from this event. Kevin Ruff able to drive away, as is the 99 of Joshua Nolan, but it looks like the 99 going to be down in the garage area, getting that all sorted out and all fixed up. So that is a tough break. Wayne, the 11 car, Wayne Bowen appeared to fake down pit road, but he's still back out on track here. So it looks like everybody in the top 15 or so going to stay out. Kevin Ruff going to come down, get some of that damage taken care of. Charles Stevens, I'm sure, will come down pit road, but they see Keith Hume Sr. already down there, the 14 to Derek Cook. Service down and away. Matt Mackin still getting some of that damage worked on. Pit crew just kind of standing there, so I think they're just kind of assessing the damage and seeing what they've got with that 9 car, and if it's worth getting it back out there for another 20 laps or so, knowing that every lap counts here and every position counts as a point. And when you've got 16 of the best sim racers in the field, you need to make sure that you're going to get everything tip-top, and you need to have the best finishes that you potentially or possibly can. And that right there is what Keith Hume or what Kenny Capola is working for. So he's holding on out front. Tim Wortman Jr. in second. Guy Bonifield in the third position. Chris Spear and Ed Boyles Jr. to the top 5. Michael Miller, Wayne Bowen, Josh Battles, Jimmy Absher, and Drew Moffitt currently in the top 10. See if we can't get a little boost to car communication with one of the front runners all night, one of the championship contenders, Tim Wortman Jr. This is Paul Strickland in the booth. You get a copy?
What's up, Paul? I haven't talked to you at all this year.
Yeah, got to run a little bit quicker than that. Having a great run here at Martinsville, restarting on the outside, and of course the lights are off in the pace car, so we're getting ready to go back to work here momentarily. What do you need to do to get around that 77 car?
Have a great restart here. That's the only way I'm going to get him. He's hooked. He's been hooked all week.
Yeah, he's been hooked up. Lots of practice laps for the 77. Good qualifying effort as well. But there goes the pace car. Time to go to work. Good luck.
Talk to you in a few.
Tim Wortman Jr. in the 00 car trying to get around the 77, and he has been the class of the field here tonight. Lots of practice laps. A great qualifying effort starting on the pole in the 77 car. And you can see Tim Wortman Jr. getting a little bit of fire under him. He gets a little bit of high, wide, and handsome action. Gets a great run as he comes out of turn number 2. But Kenny Capola is going to have him here in 3. Caution flag is going to fly. David Dathwaite finds himself in trouble in the 34 car. Caution flag. One more game. So we'll pull the Kong Beer Bong instant replay, and well, at this point, I think we might just start putting a quarter in the jar, and we're gonna put it towards a every time we get a replay here, and we'll just buy a Kong Beer Bong and send it out. But having a little rough go of it here, but still some entertaining racing here, and you can see this is going to be the replay from the restart as we go look through the field. Lots of damaged race cars down through the back, and I believe it was the 34 car found himself in a harm's way here, as well as the 16. So we're going to focus in on the 16. It's a little bit further up in the pack, and the 20 car, Charles Stevens, gets a little squirrely. Absher in the 18 gets squirrely. The 20 gets into the back of the 16. Kevin Ruff gets involved. The 24 there is involved as well. And you can see there's some calamity there. Zemer gets on through, and that's where the 34 comes in. Kind of comes up through the caboose and gets himself through the wreck without getting involved in the wreck. So definitely some good heads-up driving there, and some more damaged race cars towards the back of the pack. But we still got 19 drivers on this lead lap, and what that tells me, with 17 laps to go here at Martinsville, is there's still 19 drivers that could potentially win this race. But in order to do that, they're going to have to get around Kenny Capola, Tim Wortman Jr., and those drivers are very, very quick. And you can see where the caution flag came out. It showed that Tim Wortman Jr. was, in fact, the leader. So Jamison Middleman is going to get the wave around. We're going to get a restart with the 00, more than likely going to use that bottom side to try and get up towards the front of the pack. And he's been having himself one heck of a run here for sure. Calamity ensues. The 33 car takes over the lead, but finds himself involved in an incident, spun around, back in 15th position now, and it's back to the 77 and the 5 up front. We're going to have to take a look at the Kong Beer Bong instant replay, because I'm not entirely sure what happened there. We're going to have to back this up and take a look. And again, you got to check out those Kong Beer Bongs, kong.twodrunk.net, and be sure to purchase on from there. And you can see a little bit of contact between the leaders here, following through, trying to figure out what was going on towards the back of the pack. We had some fireworks up towards the front. There you can see on the restart, the 00 of Tim Mortman Jr. gets away. Little bit of a bumpski there from the 77, sends the 00 around. They straighten back out, little 3-line action. Guy Bonifield slips into the number 1 spot, but then he finds himself pointed in the wrong direction coming out of turn number 4. And that's going to slide him on back to the back of the pack, and a couple of the drivers up in the top 10 electing to come down and get some tires on these race cars. But man, oh man, what a string of events, and that's a tough break for the 33 car, running very, very well in that 33, up in the top 2 cars, leading the race potentially briefly there. But caution flag once again here with 10 laps to go. Kenny Coppola, Ed Boyles Jr., Wortman, Spear, and Bowen out front. Less than 10 laps to go. Going to be 7 laps to go when we take the restart here at Martinsville. And you can see the 77 and the 5 back out front. Kenny Coppola going to restart on the bottom side. Ed Boyles Jr. up on the top side. And the number 5 car, Tim Mortman Jr. is there. Chris Spear is there. Wayne Bowen is in the 5th position of 42. Finds himself way high, wide, and handsome. A little bit of contact between he and another couple of drivers, but we gather it back up. Still green flag racing. Kenny Coppola out front, but not by much. Holding on to the lead side by side for second. Caution flag comes out one more time. And a couple of drivers stacking them back up here. Keith Hume Sr. involved, the 62 involved. Looks like the 2 of Bobby Justice gets himself a little piece of the action. Going to bring out caution flag number 18 here at Martinsville. We're going to take a look at this Kong Beer Bong instant replay from the spotter stand. Lots of things going on here late in the race. You see David Douthwaite in a 34. A little bit on the slow side, up on the high side. You see 3 wide action. Bobby Justice in the number 2 car seemed to be stopped on the racetrack in front of a 3 wide battle here. So we're definitely going to have to back that up and find out what was going on with the 2 car. And you can see he gets a little bit of action as well. So the 42 up into the wall. That was the initial incident we saw. And you can see the 42 collects it back up. A little side-by-side action. Well, that was a bit of a shot there from the 42 to the 2. So we're going to back that up just a little bit more, and that might very well be what happens here. And again, from the spotter stand, this is from the restart. Focusing the number 2, the number 1, and the number 42. See, the 1 gives a little tap to the 42. The 2 Gives just kind of drives it in, gets the one car out of shape, shoots a little bit of a bumper to the 42 car as well. So that might very well have been what we call in the wrestling world a receipt, because you see the 42 car didn't even bother hitting the brakes, just plowed right into the back of the 2 cars, gives them a little bit of a pirouette, and this is where the caution flag comes out. The 1 gets involved, the 62, so a lot of drivers towards the back of the pack, unfortunately getting involved in this incident that happened between 2 drivers. So that's a tough break. A couple of quick cars here involved in this one, and going to get a restart with less than 5 laps to go. Going to get a green-white checkered, I believe, here out of this one. Kenny Capola up front, Tim Wortman Jr. in second, Ed Boyles Jr. He's going to restart on the inside of row number 2 in third. Wayne Bowen, Chris Spear, the top 5, Moffitt, Miller, Middle Miss, Bonifield, and Battles, the current top 10, and we are going to be taking this one all the way to the checkered flag as we see fit. And thank you again so much for tuning in here to Vidane TV on YouTube, on Twitch, on Facebook. Lots of things that are going to be going on here. Shout out to Nacho Cup Series. He thinks the 5 car might win this, and definitely in a good spot. Going to be restarting the inside of row number 2. And if you're out there watching on YouTube, be sure to give us a like, give us a subscribe. Easy enough for me to say. I'm struggling with the English language all night tonight. Give us a like, give us a subscribe, give us a share, let your friends and family know that you're watching a little bit of iRacing action here on a Wednesday night with the Lugz Cup Series. And great to have these guys back on board. Championship playoffs time. The very first round of the playoffs here at Martinsville. Kenny Capola trying to lock himself into the round of 12 as the lights go out in the city. The lights go out on the pace car. Kenny Capola going to take a restart here with 3 laps to go. Tim Wortman Jr. on the outside. Ed Boyles Jr. strong all night. Finds himself back in the top 3. Wayne Bowen in 4th. Chris Spear, teammate to the 77. He finds himself 5th. Moffitt, Miller, Middle Miss, Bonifield, and Battles the top 10. There goes the pace car. One final corn dog, one final ice cold Coca-Cola. One final restart potentially here at Martinsville with our 150 laps on the docket. And you can see Kenny's going to make him wait. Capola in the 77 car waiting till the absolute last minute to get that green flag. And you can see side by side as they thunder on down to turn number 1. Wortman going to drive it in hard in that 00 car. He's got a bit of a run. Colin Zemer coming off the pit road in the 32. The 11 car is in around into the outside wall. The 7 car is around. 19th caution flag going to come out here at this point. We'll see what happens. It's the final lap. That, I believe, is going to make this race official. We will double check that momentarily. But the 7 car, big time contact after the 11 car slid up into the wall. We'll see what goes on here with the, yep, there in fact is the checkered flag. Kenny Capola going to come away with the victory here. It's under caution, but it still counts. The record books show Kenny Capola wins Martinsville. The Virginia is for Lovers 150 here at Martinsville. And what a phenomenal race that we have seen here as everybody gets collected up here by the pace car. Capola, Wortman, Boyles, the top 3. Moffitt and Middle Miss, the top 5. Spear back down to 6. Miller in the 7th position. Douthwaite. Absher back up to 9th. Long run, long night for the Absher camp in the 18 Skittles machine. Cook in the 14, the top 10, and you can see the finishing order there on your screen. But the big story is Kenny Capola finds himself in victory lane and finds himself locked into the very next round here at Martinsville. He can take the next 2 weeks and work on the next round and really concentrate on what he has to do to get even closer to that championship. And man, oh man, we haven't even given him an opportunity to start the burnouts yet. Still getting that caution lap underway. But coming home with a victory here at Martinsville. Strong car. Great to see you here in victory lane, Kenny. Awesome run. Talk to us, man.
Oh man, what a race. What a race. That's all I can say. I'm speechless. Way to come out here around to 16 and get the W is huge. Takes the pressure off.
And you've got mentioned that a couple of times here throughout the broadcast. You win and you're in, and you lock yourself in to the round of 12. You get a couple of weeks to kind of test things out. Test out setups, test out different strategies, and well, test out some of the rubber that you're burning up off of the back of that 77 car right now. A great race, and you know you had a car to beat. You were fast in practice as we kind of followed along just a little bit. came home with the #1 qualifying spot. Didn't really have too much pit road strategy throughout the race, but is it something that you kind of studied for the long run, the short run? A lot of short runs here tonight. Did that kind of play into your playbook?
You know, believe it or not, my setup came in after about 7 or 8 laps. I'd run my next 10 laps, the fastest laps through the fuel run. So I kind of set up long run. It just had enough short run speed to get me there. I knew I had nothing on the restarts. My car would not take off, and that outside line was a rocket ship on restarts. A little bit more of an advantage on the inside, obviously, but we put a lot of work in, me and my teammates. I want to apologize to Tim for getting into his bumper. We both overdrove the corner trying to pull out to a lead, and I turned him, but I'm glad he made it back, finished second. And yeah, just we're going to head on to Kansas next week. Hopefully we can bring home another victory.
Momentum definitely on the side, and it definitely shows. You've been drinking that Sasquatch juice in the 77 crew. Everybody's been drinking it. Winning here, race #1 in the playoffs.
Oh yeah, man, we've loaded her up with the rocket fuel today, the Sasquatch juice on the tires, man. She ran good.
100%.
Sad we didn't get to run a couple more green flag runs, but it's Martinsville. It's tough out here.
100%, but still an entertaining show. And coming home with the victory, definitely sweet, sweet victory. Congratulations, Kenny. I want to give you an opportunity to thank. We got Butt Kicker. We got some new colors towards the end of the season. Who makes it happen for the 77 crew?
Just want to thank my team first and foremost. Those guys are like my brothers. They kept my head in it even after I started losing it mid-race, end of the race. They kept me calm, talked me through it. Want to thank my sponsors, Warrior Wraps, Warrior Racing, Butt Kicker, JNR Aquatics, No Sweat, Sim Shot, Simex Pro. They're all been very good to me. Good group of people. Want to thank my wife especially. She's bugging me to hurry up and get to work now, so I got to take off, man.
No time to celebrate, no rest for the wicked. On to Kansas next week. Congratulations, man. Phenomenal victory.
Appreciate it, buddy.
Kenny Capola coming home with the victory here, and we're going to slide on down, actually right on the other side there of the start-finish line to the 00. Tim Wortman Jr., last season's regular series champion, finishes second here tonight. How we doing, Tim? Great race.
It feels good to finally be talking to you.
100%. We saw that double out car was fast all night long here, and a little bit slipping in the podium finishes here on Verdane TV. But the good news is you're in the playoffs. You're in the round of 16. You're listed as the #1 driver because you got a 00 as the number. We won't tell the fans that. But you're in the playoffs. A great run here tonight. Definitely a good points night. Finishing behind teammate Kenny Capola. Man, great race. Talk to us about it.
Yeah, Kenny was fast straight out from practice. He really put in the time this week, and all I could do was fight to be second to him. And I knew it was going to take him making a mistake or something to even have a chance out of him. Boy, I sure gave him the business tonight, but we just about had him.
Yeah, 100%. Lots of good battles up in the top 5 all night long here. A lot of short runs throughout the evening. Did that kind of put a damper on your plans, or were you planning for some short runs here at Martinsville?
Yeah, I think we had last year to look back at. We knew it was going to be short runs, so we, track position was king. And just stay up front, stay out of the carnage in the back, and make sure you just pit that once about halfway. And luckily, I came out second or third. So from that point, once I got the lead, it was track position and just not. Try not to make any mistakes and get involved in an incident to get pushed to the back.
Definitely took advantage of all the track position you can get, coming home with a solid second-place victory, a good points night here as well in the playoffs. And want to give you an opportunity rocking some newer colors on that 00 car. Talk to us about the sponsors and who else gets it happen, who else makes it happen for that virtual 00 team.
Yeah, my online business, my e-commerce business, we're an Amazon storefront. We pays the bills for all the online racing. storefront Oconee Hill products, and we got a Tactical Arbitrage, which is software, so is Scan Power that helps us do our business. And just whenever you go on this holiday season to shop on Amazon and you see that sold from that says something different other than Amazon, know that you're buying from millions of small businesses just like myself.
Which is very cool, and we always want to support the ones that support us and that support our hobby here in sim racing. But a great run here tonight, good points night, capping it off here at Martinsville. On to Kansas. What do you got for them next week?
Well, we love the 1.5 mile track, so I'm sure we'll be fast there.
Looking forward to it for sure. Tim Wortman Jr., the second place finisher here in the very first race of the round of 16, coming home with a good points night, and that's the 0-0 of Tim Wortman Jr. I'm going to slide on back just a little bit further. Actually parked right next to him. This is easy. I love this post-race stuff where everybody parks next to each other. We're going to have to keep doing that for the rest of the season. I dig it. But Ed Boyles Jr., very strong all night long. A lot of restarts up on the front row, side by side with that 77 car. On the inside, on the outside, a little bit pushed towards the back, a little bit further, about mid-race or so, but you drove back to a third-place finish. A little up-and-down night at Martinsville, but finishing up in the podium.
Yeah, it sure was. Well, when we had the pit sequence there was a couple of cars that got caught in the crash, and all the guys up front made it in. I had to check up, and when I went to go into the pits, there was a car sideways across the pits, so I had to go around and pit after. So I kind of lost all my spots, but battled back through and coming home with third place finish. I think I might have had something for them at the end, but unfortunately I was hoping for one more lap. I lined up in that perfect spot.
Could have had the restart from the inside of row number 2, and sometimes that's the money spot here at Martinsville, but able to finish in third. A great run. Definitely shows you got some momentum heading into the rest of the playoff races here. For the last 9 races, and we got Kansas back in a 1.5 mile track next week. You got anything for them?
Oh, of course. I love Kansas. It's one of my favorite tracks. I lived there when I was younger, so it was awesome being close to the track, and I think I'm going to be pretty fast out there. This number 5 car's going to be stout.
And that's one of the things we look forward to is some big, fast racetracks, the 1.5 miles at Kansas next week. And definitely looking forward to seeing that 5-car run fast. A little championship hanging in the balance as well, as we saw with the NASCAR Cup Series and that 5-car dominating throughout the season. So it'd be kind of cool to see the 5-car win here in the Lugz Cup Series as well. But we have to wait until February to find that out. But a great race here tonight. Good points night for sure. Finishing in at third here for the very first round of the round of 16. Want to give you an opportunity here, Ed, to thank anybody that makes it happen for the Virtual 5 team. Friends, family, sponsors, partners, teammates, whoever helps you get to and from the virtual racetrack.
Yes, sir. I'd like to thank my teammates for all the hard work we do in practice, my wife for supporting me in my sim racing career. I got my own channel on YouTube, Sim Racing Diecast on Instagram. So I'm going to be getting them on the car here shortly after CS Wraps gets some, or CS Racing makes me a wrap to get on the car. And, Butt Kicker, all of our sponsors, Vidane TV. I do have one thing I want to say. Recently we lost one of our longtime members, Stuart Ovens, and we just want this to come from all of the members at Loose Lugz. We're thinking about him and his family, and it was a shock that we suddenly lost him, and just our thoughts go out to him and his family, and we're missing him out on the track here with us.
And that's one of those things, the sim racing community, people say, oh, it's just a game, but it's not. You're racing with your buddies, you're racing with your friends, and it's always tragic to lose a member of the community and a member of the family and a close friend like that. I've been around for the sim racing community for going on 20 years, and it's an unfortunate thing where we've had to say our goodbyes to many members, but it's very cool that we're able to let their memories kind of live on in the sim racing world, and always cool to kind of support our friends and family and everybody that's involved with it as well. So thoughts and prayers with the family for sure, and a great run here tonight. Round of 16, finishing in third, moving on with a good points night to Kansas next week. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
It's going to wrap up the post-race show here at Martinsville. A little bit of cautions, a little bit of wrecks, a little bit of damaged race cars leaving the racetrack here, but a lot of entertainment, and that's the main thing that we're after here at Vidane TV, Loose Lugz Racing Series, Loose Lugz Cup Series, wrapping up round one, race one of round one in the playoffs. And Kenny Capola locking himself in to the round of 12. Moving on, he can take a couple of weeks and just kind of test some things out and get ready for that second round, the round of 12, coming up here in 3 weeks' time. And we've got Kansas next week, next Wednesday night, so that's going to be a lot of fun. We've seen some phenomenal races at Kansas Motor Speedway, and I can assure you, these guys here on Wednesday nights, the Loose Lugz Cup Series, not going to disappoint. Taking a peek here at the upcoming schedule. Got to update this graphic. Really need to hire myself a secretary. Tomorrow night, Multi-League Cup Series. They actually just crowned their champion last week. Scott Patton in the 46. Win number 11 on the season. Came home with that Cup Series championship. So tomorrow night, New England, Pennsylvania iRacing Shift Marketing and Design Grand National Series slides on into that time slot. They're going to be racing the Bull Ring at Las Vegas tomorrow night. That's going to be a lot of fun, running the Xfinity cars. Tim Terry going to be joining me in the booth for that one. Friday night, the NAP race has been postponed. A couple of drivers not able to make the show for Friday night, so the race officials elected to move that a little bit down on the road. Monday, Tuesday night of next week, Tim's Corner Motorsports TCM 300 qualifying events. A pair of them, one Monday, one Tuesday. You get all the action, get all the information at timscorner.ca/TCM 300. Be sure to check that out. There are still some spots available. Get yourself into one of the biggest premier late model races here in sim racing, the TCM 300, the second annual and the second time we've had it here on Vidane TV. You're going to be able to see the big show next Friday night here live after Wednesday night's doubleheader, TCM Live, episode number 38 in the Loose Lugz Cup Series race at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time at Kansas Speedway. And oh, by the way, Naps is back next Thursday as well. Lots of cool stuff coming up. Be sure to check us out on Facebook, facebook.com/Vidane TV. We try to keep up with all the different leagues that work with us here on Vidane TV in the sim racing world. And that's where you'll be able to catch up with the schedule. This Sunday, East Coast Winter League kicking off race number 1. They had over 80 drivers qualify this past week. Attempt to qualify for 50 spots available for the heat races and the Conti races this Sunday night. Running some Tour Modifieds. 12-race season kicking off this Sunday night. Going to be a blast with Dylan Kopeck and company, and you're only going to be able to see it right here on Vidane TV. But for everybody here at Vidane, everybody here in the Loose Lugz Cup Series, and everybody involved, sponsors, friends, family, again, thank you so much for tuning into the YouTube page. Make sure you get yourself a sweatshirt, www.vidane.shop, Vidane TV sweatshirts, Rent a Race Car, Angry Tree Guy. Lots of Grand Theft Auto online stuff up in there as well, and some cool little neat designs that we've kind of thrown in there for kicks and giggles. So be sure to check that out. Check out the Kong Beer Bongs as well, kong.twodrunk.net. Get yourself one of those, be the life of the party, and a big-time shout-out to TraxCams22.com for the beautiful, beautiful, beautiful camera angles that we've been utilizing here on the oval tracks here in the iRacing world. And a shout-out to iRacing. This is something you want to check out and you want to try out the sim racing thing for the very first time. Shoot over to iRacing.com now through December 4th, 50% off for Black Friday sales. You can get yourself 50% off for the first year of iRacing. It comes with cars, it comes with tracks, and obviously the more content you get, the more expensive it gets. But at that point, you'll have yourself a little bit of a starting package and somewhere to build a sim racing career out of. And you can tell by the interviews here tonight with the Loose Lugz Cup Series, you're not only racing with your friends, you're not only racing with your buddies, but you're racing with family. And that's one of the cool things here with the sim racing community. But that being said, we're going to roll on out. We got some stuff to do, and we're going to catch up with the New England, Pennsylvania iRacing Grand National Series tomorrow night at the Bull Ring. But until then, we'll catch you on the flip side. When we do, we are going to be doing it live.